welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I want to talk about this chicken food thing that's going around everywhere. So I'd like to start with saying that I've been raising chickens personally myself for a little over 10 years, and we love raising chickens. We have raised hens for eggs, and we always have our egg layers, and we have raised meat chickens a few times. So I just want to put that out there that I've been doing this for quite a while, and so I do have a little bit of knowledge about it. I'm not a professional, not claiming to be a professional, but we've been doing it for a long time, and we love our chickens, and they're nice and healthy, and they lay beautiful eggs. So I have seen just so much information out there about Purina food and different brands of food. I've heard a whole bunch of different brands, and that the feed is poisoned, that the feed doesn't have any protein, that all these different things are going around out there about the chicken food. Well, I have to say, in the last 10 years, I have bought Do More Food, which is a Purina product from Tractor Supply, 90% of the time. We buy it most of the time because it's really inexpensive and it is a decent food. Sometimes if I am running low or I need to grab some when I'm out, sometimes I'll just grab whatever I see. I found deals at other places, and I'm not exclusive just to their food. I don't work for that company or anything, but I do use their food pretty much regularly because it's affordable, and that's why we purchase it for our hens. And we also supplement with as much fresh food as we can. They get all of our scraps. We grow them fresh food in the summer. We used to let them free range around the yard, but foxes like to eat hens, and we have lots of those around here. So we don't do a lot of free ranging around the yard anymore because we lost too many chickens. So definitely, we do try to grow them their own food, as much fresh as we can. Lots of lettuces, kale, spinach. We give them comfrey, we give them chickweed stuff. We forage for stuff around the yard, things like that, for them to make sure they are good and healthy. So they don't get just grain, and I don't think any chicken should get just grain. But as far as the chicken food being poisoned or having zero protein in it, I saw an article, a guy in it said that he had had the chicken food tested and it had 0% protein in it. So even wheat and corn and oats and all of those things have a little bit of protein in it. So 0% would mean that it's made out of cardboard. So I don't know. I can't tell you that it's poisoned or that it's not poisoned. I haven't had it tested, but I can tell you that I still buy it. I bought some today. I buy it for my own chickens, and they are laying eggs. It's winter time, and in the winter, they slow down or stop laying eggs. And this has happened since the very beginning, first chickens that I had. Just a little bit about chickens. In the fall, when it gets cold, it triggers them to molt and their feathers fall out. So they stop laying eggs to produce new feathers. They use all that calcium in their system to produce feathers. So by the time they get all those feathers regrown, there's not enough light for them to start laying again, because they need 14 to 16 hours of daylight to trigger their bodies to lay eggs. And if they don't have enough light, they're not going to get that. Now, if you're running lights in your coop, that probably will help them lay more eggs. But we don't do that. We just let them be natural chickens. If they don't lay eggs, it's okay to take a couple weeks off. Even we get breaks once in a while. So we just let them be chickens. We don't force them. And once they go through all that, they may go a month or so without laying any eggs at all. They may lay one egg here, one egg there, not really that much. I know my hens did not lay maybe 3 eggs in the month of December and maybe 5 eggs in the month of January, but the light is coming up. And during those times, we want to make sure that they're getting enough protein to lay those eggs and enough calcium to lay those eggs as well. So supplementing those is important by giving them, mealworms to help with the protein. That's one way to go about it. You can add those proteins in there. And we also like to supplement calcium. We buy oyster shell and put it on the side in their coop so they have access to that as they need it, so they can have nice, strong eggshells on their egg. So there are a bunch of different things that can trigger your chickens not to lay eggs. If you're new to chickens, they're not getting enough protein, that can stop egg production. If they're not getting enough calcium, that can stop the daylight. If they're not getting enough daylight hours, that can stop it. There are a bunch of different things. It's not just one thing. And feed can definitely be a reason for them to stop laying eggs, but it's not always the reason. A lot of times it's something else. So maybe the feed doesn't have enough calcium, and supplementing a little bit extra a few times a year might be something you want to look into. Changing feed completely is definitely an option also. And a lot of people like to make their own feed. I find that that is so much more expensive to make my own feed, buying the individual bags of ingredients. Probably because where I live, we don't have a lot of options. So getting whole oats and whole wheat and things like that are much more difficult. And a lot of items we have to have shipped in. We can't just pick them up at our local stores. If a lot of people aren't buying it, they're not carrying it. So although my opinion, I'm sure, is not very popular, that's okay. We have been raising them for about 10 years, and we have been using Do More Food, which is a product of Purina from Tractor Supply. We have been using that, and I honestly have not seen a difference in my chickens this year. There was no difference. Did they take an extra day off? I don't know. I don't count the days. I let them be chickens. We try to give them extra support in the winter time, when in the late fall and the early winter, when they can't lay eggs because of the molting. They have to grow all those feathers. So giving them those little extras, and we like to give them extra treats anyway. I am starting a mealworm farm, so I don't have to purchase them anymore, and I can give them more than I can afford to buy. So we are working on that to help our chickens as well, give them more protein in their diet, which will make their eggs more nutritious. And so is someone poisoning the food? I don't know. We can't tell that unless you go to the expense of having the chicken food tested. And I personally am not having any issue with the chicken food for my own chickens. So I mean, there's always that chance that it is being poisoned. We don't know what's in food. Even our own food, what's on the label, we hope is what is in the food. But it's not always the case. Sometimes things are not what they seem, and we do have to make sure that we're making choices for our families and our animals the best that we can. And I'm very thankful that I got 4 eggs for my chickens today. It's nice. Laying is picking up. Because we're getting more and more light each day. So that's wonderful. And that's it for today. If you're having trouble with your chickens or with their feed or anything like that, please let us know in the comments down below. I know our chickens have not been any different this year than they are every other year, honestly. It's really been the same. So that's it for today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.